Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Bradenton City Council meeting, Wednesday, April 28th, 2024, at 8:30 a.m. in City Hall chambers. At this time, we're going to do our invocation and pledge, as we always do. We're going to call up Pastor Don Steriano with Kingdom Life Church and our police chaplain. So welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Would you bow your heads, please? Father of maker of heaven and earth, I come before you today with a heart full of gratitude and love as I lift up the city of Bradenton to you. Thank you for the beauty and diversity that the city holds and for the many blessings it's received throughout the years. I declare that the best is yet to come for the friendly city. I pray your divine protection over the entire city. May you surround us with your loving manifest presence and keep its people safe from harm. Psalm 115, verse 16 says, even the heavens are the Lord's, but the earth he has given to the children of men. So with that, I ask that you would guide our leader of our city who serve as your delegated authority. Give them great wisdom and discernment as they make decisions to impact the lives of its precious people. I bless our mayor, city council, all department heads, and every employee. I bless their health, their families, their possessions, and their finances. I pray our leaders would serve with the heart of a king and lead with the heart of a servant. Lord, I pray for the prosperity and abundance of Bradenton to greatly increase. May you bless its economy, bring forth new opportunities and growth and development. I declare Jeremiah 29:11 over the city, that I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. So may your kingdom come and your will be done in the beautiful city of Bradenton as it is in heaven. I pray this all in the name of Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Please join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Thank you, Pastor Don. All right, we'll call the meeting to order. Madam Clerk.
The first item on the agenda is a proclamation for Attendance Awareness Month, September 2024. Whereas the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading is a four-county effort in Charlotte, DeSoto, Manatee, and Sarasota counties, fostering wide community participation to achieve shared aspirations for the success of families and children. And the Patterson Foundation serves as the regional accelerator for the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading with county-specific work. And whereas data reveals that chronic absenteeism, defined as missing 10% or more of school days due to any reason, whether excused, unexcused, or due to suspensions, significantly hinders academic achievement, leading to reading difficulties in third graders, academic challenges in sixth graders, and graduation hurdles for high school students. And whereas research underscores that chronic absenteeism can be effectively addressed through collaborative efforts among school districts, communities, and policymakers, focusing on monitoring attendance and implementing targeted solutions to tackle its root causes. And whereas working together with local schools, families, elected leaders, and other community partners, the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading is committed to focusing on reducing absenteeism and addressing the factors that cause students to miss school in order to ensure all children have an equal opportunity to learn, grow, and thrive academically, emotionally, and socially. And whereas the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading is taking proactive steps to emphasize the importance of regular attendance during September 2024 through initiatives such as Attendance Awareness Poster Contest, designed to recognize the critical role of regular school attendance and promote a positive message about outstanding attendance among students, educators, and families. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jean Brown, as mayor of the city of Bradenton, Florida, do hereby proclaim September 2024 as Attendance Awareness Month and urge all citizens to participate in the programs helping our students to achieve their academic goals. Signed, Jean Brown, Mayor.
Thank you. And who do we have coming forward here? Welcome.
Thank you so much, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members. My name is Beth Duda. I'm the director of the Suncoast Campaign for Grade Level Reading, working with the Patterson Foundation. On behalf of all the individuals that we work with, we want to thank you for this proclamation recognizing Attendance Awareness Month. Your support highlights the critical role that regular school attendance plays in students' academic achievement and their overall well-being. Every day a student is present is a day filled with opportunities for learning, growth, and development. Thank you for your commitment to this vital cause and your help to ensure that all students have a chance to thrive. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone? All right, I have some comments that I'd like to say. Yesterday, I had the opportunity to do a ribbon cutting with a family that has a business, and their daughter is a third grade teacher in Manatee County here. And we were talking about a young man that, very smart young man, but has only been to school 3 days this school year. So when you think about these things and that, you know, we don't know that young man's situation, but he may be the adult in the family, unfortunately, in third grade. And one of the things that we're doing with our City Park project and with the community center that we're working with PAL to put on that City Park project is to get opportunities with the school district, with all of the collaboration that we're doing, is to have a 3- and 4-year-old pre-K in that for that neighborhood. That, you know, there's a lot of us in this room that if it's our kids or our grandkids, we're going to make sure they get that base. But some families and some single moms can't get that because they don't have the transportation, they don't have the opportunity. But something that this council has done very strongly and been very supportive of, and is to work to have that happen over there at City Park in a neighborhood that needs us the most. So I think, you know, going through it, the Patterson Foundation's obviously going to be part of that, along with a lot of collaboration with the school district, with the county, with the state, with the federal. And that's one thing that I'm proud of, that we're working as a city to make that difference. So when they do get to third grade, they're on level. When they do get to sixth grade, and they see the importance of it, while not also helping those young mothers that right now, you know, are struggling because they don't have cars, they're in their teens, but we're going to give them that opportunity to succeed and have value in their life. So I think that's very important that we keep collaborating like this and moving forward for those young mothers as well as the young children. So I just appreciate that. So thank you. Can we get a picture?
Please.
All right, we want to all come up here, and you can kind of come up here and stand in front. Seems like we get better pictures that way. Pam looks taller.
There's no hope for me.
Everybody in? Sure. Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You just so happy to be able to smile, right?
And then, Madam Clerk, I understand we like surprises.
We do.
Okay.
We have an extra proclamation this morning for Building and Code Staff Appreciation Day, September 1st, 2024. Whereas Building and Code Staff Appreciation Day is celebrated every year on September 1st. And whereas building and code staff are essential not only to the industries in which they work, but to society as well by ensuring that buildings and infrastructure are safe for everyday use by our residents, local businesses, and patrons. And whereas detailed review of building plans and the inspection process institute a path forward that keeps the project running efficiently, reduces costs, and ensures a safe structure is built in a timely manner. And whereas building and code staff review, inspect, and enforce safe building practices in a variety of construction and critical infrastructure components, including structural, electrical, mechanical, plumbing, fire systems, accessibility, and energy as they apply to housing, commercial buildings, and public works infrastructure. And whereas Building and Code Staff Appreciation Day is intended to remind the public about the critical role of our community's building and code officials, our largely unknown guardians of public safety. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Jean Brown, as mayor of the city of Bradenton, Florida, do hereby proclaim September 1st, 2024 as Building and Code Staff Appreciation Day, and urge all citizens to express their appreciation to our city's building code staff who work diligently within our community every day. Signed, Jean Brown, Mayor.
All right, don't everybody jump up at once. I see one or two still sitting down that should be standing up.
Mayor Robin can introduce some of these folks,
Right.
and also Scott Williams, who's our new chief building official.
Yeah, you met Scott at the last meeting.
yeah.
and He's here to accept, I think, on behalf of our department.
Surprisingly and unexpectedly.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And we have Tamara Tournay, we have John Glover, we have Vic Steiner, we have Jeff Mitchell, we have Doug Garrett, I'm mispronouncing his name. We have Charlie is also our FEMA coordinator in addition to being our inspector. And of course, we know Greg and I, so with that, turn it over to Scott.
As you said earlier, it was a surprise and we are unexpected, so I am completely unprepared for anything like this.
It's okay.
So on behalf of everybody, we appreciate the recognition. I'm new here. We've got an awesome staff. I couldn't have walked into a better group of people to work with. And I really look forward to us merging all together and moving forward in the future.
Good. Comments?
They
All
work
right.
hard.
They work
Very
hard.
hard.
One of the things I just want to, I know, there was a lot of people that had to do stuff during the last hurricane with Debbie, then when that came through, and I think we can still probably say it, Greg, that we didn't have a lot of damage, wasn't a lot of wind damage and things of that nature, but I know it's probably slowed a few projects down where you guys are working with people to keep them going forward, but this morning I was at breakfast at Robbins and with a group, and they were asking, and we're talking about flooding around the county, but we're proud that we had our streets and some things, but we didn't have any house flooding from the situations that in the city of Bradenton, some of the projects and things we're doing are really working in some of our areas. So, and I know that, it's how you build it and how you do it, it makes a difference. So we appreciate what you guys do and ladies, and really are working forward to make our city better. So, and friendly. That's probably the biggest thing is if we don't hear about you, that's a good thing. Because normally when we do, it's somebody complaining, but we have been getting some good ones, and we send them out, and we appreciate when that happens, that people are taking it. Mr. Perry.
Thanks, Mayor. Those are excellent comments. I just point out that, when you look at this particular function within the planning department, it's really important because when the plans come in, they have to be reviewed and approved, basically, and then ultimately built and inspected and stamped for approval. And these guys get it at both ends. We've been really good at being able to put a system in place where the timeliness of that process is done in an efficient manner. And inevitably, there's always a quirk. And these guys are really good at working out the quirks, so to speak, so that we don't have the contractors and developers calling you all. And I know you get calls, I get calls too. And Tamara and Scott and formerly Pat Wenzel, he gets with these guys, and we're able to work through those things in an efficient manner. Because what we want to do is we want to keep them safe, but we also want to help them be successful. And these guys do a great job of that.
All right, thank you very much. Let's get up here and get a picture right down in front of us.
Those that didn't come up should come and get in the picture at least.
Was not code enforcement kind of included in that? Squeeze in and turn sideways.
45-degree angles.
You're in the middle, couple over this side. Smile, Josh.
I'm trying.
Thank you. Appreciate it. meet you guys. Thank you.
Guys. Yep. See you outside.
So, Madam Clerk, this is something that's been a long time coming, but let's move forward with the next agenda item.
Item 4A is the quarterly employee recognition.
Mr. Perry.
Thank you, Mayor. As you pointed out, Mayor, it has been a long time coming, this program, and we've talked with Administrative Services and, of course, HR within them, and Shamika, who's here with me, and you'll see in your agenda package a little overview of what the program is and the policy that's related to how we're doing the employee recognition. And so what we have is a quarterly employee of the quarter, and we will continuously do this every quarter, and we'll also recognize a series of runner-ups that were very, very high up in the finalist list. The good news is that what we're looking for is employees that are nominated by other employees for going above and beyond positive accomplishments and support, leadership, and a whole host of other can-do type attitudes. And we were overwhelmed with applicants, I think, in this particular, when we put it out. Not only is it recognition by our leadership and governance and administration and superiors, but it's also a recognition that has monetary awards for it. So do you want to talk a little bit about what we provide as far as the awards? And we're going to get to the three nominees today and do them and get a picture with them.
Absolutely. Good morning, Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Perry.
Morning.
Morning, Mayor, City
Closer to the
Council.
microphone, too.
Yeah, thank you very much. The quarterly recognition program, like Mr. Perry said, is to recognize employees that work very hard and go above and beyond their normal duties. And when we created this program, it's almost like rewarding or putting a price on a priceless job. Sure, we get the recognition, you get the certificate, you also get the recognition via social media here by mayor and city council, and also a day off, and to include maybe $100 certificate or a day off. In addition to that, some recognition on social media. These employees that were nominated were recognized by their peers, and I think it's a good feeling to shine light on these employees that shine light on the city and make us all look very good. So,
Thank you.
Thank you.
And credit to Shamika for putting together the operations and policy that surrounds this. So with this, I'm going to basically call up a few employees one by one and have them come up as we talk a little bit about what their background and contributions were. So we're going to start out with the employee of the quarter, Anna Jensen. If she could come up. So Anna is an environmental compliance specialist over in our public works department, and her office is over at the water reclamation facility, the wastewater treatment plant, and she's a scientist. And sometimes she's the bearer of bad news because sometimes we have some environmental challenges, we'll say. But her attitude has just always been above and beyond. I met Anna probably about 1.5 years ago, and I was just intrigued with her background as it relates to the science side of things. When you go into her office, some people might have paperweights and degrees and things like that. She has different bugs and things like that, little models all over her office, really. Yeah, and it kind of gives you some background. But she's an awesome person, and she's an awesome employee, and she's an awesome environmental compliance specialist. She exerts a lot of calm that is sometimes a difficult component to have over there in her job. Important scientific certifications that she putting together action plans to keep us up in certification and get to certification so that we have laboratory expertise. There's two types of expertise you kind of need. One is the immediate testing of the water quality and chemistry so that you can make adjustments. The other thing is to measure certain components and water chemistry issues that have to be reported. And you guys don't hear too much about that, but it's a really, really important function because it's heavily regulated and the like. And we send some stuff out to the lab and do some stuff at the water plant right there and the like, but we're really trying to get up to the next level. And Anna is very, very instrumental in that. And she's just great. She puts together those plans as far as staff development, protocols, policies, and procedures. She has a positive and caring attitude, and I can't thank her enough. So she's a problem solver. She's definitely a problem solver. And with that, I am going to basically have the honor of awarding Miss Anna Jensen this certificate of appreciation and some goodies over here for her that accomplishment of being the employee of the quarter. Yeah. So we try to put together these cool items.
Very color coordinated, too.
Yeah. So we have the letter that recognizes the employee of the quarter recognition program. You got a choice between a ball cap or a bucket hat.
I like that bucket.
That says All-Star Player, has the Bradenton logo on it. And then it's like a football helmet. For every good play you make, we put a little star on the side of it. And then also we have a city, a coin for quarterly nominees, for all the nominees themselves as well. So we try to make it something special. And in this case, I think there's also a day off and maybe a gift certificate. Yeah.
Sorry.
Big demands.
So we'll put that in there, and if Anna can stay up here. Now, Nilsa is going to tell you about a runner-up, Jean Toddy, and then Shamika's going to tell you about our runner-ups. We have two additional runner-ups. So John, if you can come on up. Yeah.
Congratulations. John Toddy. John has been with the city since 2022 and serves as a construction project administrator at Public Works and Utilities. John has done a phenomenal job at organizing multiple large capital development projects. He continually updates the status of each project with a stakeholder meeting to ensure all stakeholders are informed and have input during the project. The total of all projects amounts to roughly $43 million or more. Having multiple large-scale projects and keeping them all on task while ensuring all stakeholders are well-informed and have input along the project schedule is definitely something to be recognized. In addition to keeping our important municipal assets on schedule and on budget, John always has a great attitude, is willing to assist where he can, communicates effectively, and is extremely responsive when asked a question or to provide information. Thank you, John. Your hard work, dedication, and continued persistence ensuring the city's treasured assets are well managed and the funds in which the assets are purchased are managed appropriately. Job well done. Thank you.
That's for you. And I just want to say, and Lance, I'm sure, joins me in this, that we've worked with John really closely on a lot of these construction projects. And it's not just the strict vertical construction, but every Wednesday morning we have an 8 o'clock meeting, and it is tight. He has organized things so that we know exactly where we are in process with every phase of the project itself, starting in the early phases of A&E or even concept. And there's a lot that goes into that between following procurement rules and getting, getting materials, getting subs, adjusting change orders, getting the project built. And he is an awesome project manager for this city. And we weren't sure, when Lance and I kind of started, we weren't sure about whether we had the bandwidth internally to handle this. I can absolutely guarantee you that Mr. Toddy brings us in one person the bandwidth to handle that. So when we go to those fire station groundbreakings or the PSOC you see John, give him a pat on the back, because he built it, really, in large part. So thank you, John. Would you like to take the final individual? And this guy's got a long list of things, so let's, we all know him. Yep.
If Bill Apples could come up, please. As Bill is coming up, good morning, council. Bill has been with the city since 1997, longtime serving employee, and serves as the Records Management Liaison Officer. Bill consistently holds true to his strong work ethic and a willingness to go the extra mile through his professionalism, his love for the city of Bradenton and its residents. He consistently helps all employees stay within the legal guidelines of record processing, keeps our historical artifacts and documents secured. It is Bill's nature to take on tasks that are not part of his regularly scheduled work duties. He does so with a great attitude and is always willing to put in the extra effort to make sure our citizens are served to the best of our abilities. He also helps citizens navigate through city business and goes above and beyond by helping them find the appropriate county office and contact, in addition to helping at the front desk on all topics. He hangs pictures everywhere in City Hall, assembling furniture for different areas. He stays to help lock up the building, comes in early. All these nice decorations we see around City Hall, Bill helps put up those on his own time. He mentors fellow employees on city protocols. He has walked and mapped all of Riverwalk East and downtown to document banner locations. He changes the lighting on the garage and then comes in that same night to correct it, to ensure it's correct. He watches over flag protocol for the flagpole located in front of the auditorium, distributes baseball tickets for us, paints walls, lettering on walls, help with the setup and breakdown of council chamber events, looks after the gardens at our city park. He's known for the ability to think outside the box and get the task done. All departments reach out to Bill for help, even though it may not be his responsibility, but yet he never hesitates to say yes and give it his best effort. So Bill says, yes, let's make it happen. The list goes on, and Bill will do any task, large or small. He takes pride in what he does and is willing to go above and beyond what is required and expected. And obviously, with all of these tasks, I feel like I am honored to be able to present him as a runner-up for Employee of the Quarter.
I think all of those accolades lead to one conclusion, is that if a catastrophic event ever happened and everybody else was gone, the one guy I would want to see pulling up the trap door and the sand coming out of the earth and the head popping up, knowing that the city's in good hands, would be that guy right there. Yeah. Congratulations.
Okay, comments? Yes, ma'am, Ms. Coker.
Well, if you want to start. Well, I just want to say what a great opportunity to put a face on really the true lifeblood of the city here. I mean, I'm sure there are many others that are just as well deserving, but how wonderful to celebrate y'all today. Thank you for all that you do. We couldn't do it without you.
Mr. Kramer?
Yeah, thank you all. It's nice to, a lot of times we're driving down the road and we see projects and we now know you're the one behind it. We turn on our faucet, we now know you're the one behind it. And Bill and I go back to my time with the police department, and he and I would have to work in lockstep to make sure information was properly disseminated, legally disseminated, and he's a good friend. So great job, all of you. Thank you.
Vice Mayor Barnaby?
We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for being willing to give us the gift of your time. I know that there's times that you get called in after hours. I know there's times that you might want to be doing something else, but you're always here and you're always helping. And you bring your family in and get them to do it. It's become a tradition in your family to decorate City Hall. So, I mean, y'all are wonderful. Thank you.
Second Vice Mayor Coachman.
Oh.
That's right.
I would be repeating
a lot of what has already been said. And it is great to have a face to the name, because we definitely know from the way things operate that you're doing it and you're taking care of business. So just know that with this recognition, it is genuine. We appreciate you.
Ms. Moore.
I agree. I echo everyone's sentiments, and I'm just appreciative. Thank you. Thank you for the work that you do.
Thank you. So, first off, I'd like to thank, obviously, Nilsa and Shamika for taking the effort to do this. I asked it a long time ago from the standpoint of, let's get it done, but we did it right. We were able to bring it to the council, and I appreciate the council supporting this and making it happen from that standpoint, but appreciate what you've done to get it there, because without our employees, without our family, we wouldn't be where we're at. And I know, I see Anna's saying, get me out of here quick, get me out of here quick, because she wants to be behind the scenes, but we appreciate that. And I know that when things happen like Debbie and other storms in the past, you know, it is very crucial that we have that system working. And, you know, we're in a position now to be making sure those systems get better over the next many years that we've already started within the last 3 or 4 years, really to push those forward. And something, you know, so thank you for what you do with that. Obviously, projects, you know, I know Mr. Perry sometimes in the mornings, hadn't happened lately, but when I walk in with that smile on my face and sit down at his desk, he goes, no more, please, you know. But from that standpoint, getting the bandwidth was very important, and it, you know, and I think that's what we're at now. You know, we've got a lot of work to do, but we've got good people in the seats, and we're working forward with that. So thank you for that. And then Mr. Ackles, I mean, I don't care when you come here in this building, any of us come in, you're usually either there, working behind your desk, you're there down the hallway, you've got a water backpack on your back that you just walked around the building to make sure everything's good to exercise, and it's also your family, and everything that you do is sometimes not seen, but it's appreciated. And, you know, that institutional knowledge doesn't come easy, and we appreciate it. So thank you. And I mean, this was so important to do. I felt that we get this going. And like you said, sometimes good things take a little time to get done, but this is something that we will continue in this city to make sure that we not only have 600 plus employees, but we're recognizing the ones that are stepping above and beyond, and we appreciate all of you. So thank you. Now let's get a picture.
Let's just go come by say hello, and then we'll get together. You guys get a picture. Good to go?
Yep.
All right, what am I doing?
I'll show you the way it works. Hi.
Hello.
Ron.
Josh Kramer.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you, sir.
He's always got that.
Sorry about that.
Thank you.
It's all right. I'll survive.
I know, but you, I know, I can tell you.
We have other people. We have other people, Pete. Keep going. Keep it moving.
All right, stay right there. We're gonna get a quick picture when we're all done. Okay? Yeah, you look good.
Shirt that said I married into this.
Thank you, everybody.
That's what I feel like sometimes. It's like,
Moving forward, citizen comment. At this time, citizen comment will be accepted during the citizen comment portion of the meeting on any non-agenda items, agenda items, future agenda item, or topic of relevance to the city. Comments will be accepted on the public hearings at the appropriate time. When you come forward, you'll have 3 minutes. State your name and then and your city of residence. And at this time, the first card I have, I believe it is Brian Udell. Okay, thank you. Please come forward. You have 3 minutes. Please state your name and your city of residence, and you have 3 minutes.
Brian Udell, Bradenton, Florida. Mother Teresa told us to talk to the homeless population, not talk about them. Over the past 2 years, I've had countless conversations with individuals experiencing homelessness. I've seen firsthand the extreme challenges they face, especially in these scorching temperatures. It's crucial we address the issue with the urgency and compassion it demands. At any given night, right here in Manatee, 1,500 individuals find themselves without stable housing, often residing in and around parks, libraries, and public spaces. Alarmingly, about half of these individuals suffer from severe mental health conditions, such as schizophrenia and bipolar disorder. I met Todd Downs, a 50-year-old former business owner at Lockwood Commons Plaza. Todd was living in dire conditions, surviving with only a backpack and mayonnaise packets while sleeping on cardboard. With minimal financial support and temporary housing, Todd was able to stabilize his life, find employment, and secure a room. His success story underscores the need for immediate shelter and targeted assistance to help individuals transition out of homelessness. Todd's journey was facilitated by his clean record and mental health stability, but we must recognize that not everyone has the same advantages. Teresa Brewer, a 64-year-old woman battling severe health and mental health issues, faced a much more complex situation. With limited finances, Teresa and her dog Buddy lived at the Creekwood Dog Park in a roach-infested White Crown, Victoria. Despite my efforts to provide temporary housing, Teresa's ongoing mental health challenges and systemic barriers have made finding a permanent solution difficult. Her case highlights the urgent need for more tailored and accessible support systems. I've encountered problems with for-profit organizations such as Centerstone. I found a distressed woman named Stella at a local Wawa who was recently discharged from Centerstone. Stella was shoeless and wearing just a sheet. Inadequately cared for and without basic necessities, she was given a blood pressure monitor and asked me if I wanted it because she didn't know how to use it. I urge the City Council to address these critical needs with the following actions. Immediate housing. Prioritizing provide immediate temporary housing to individuals currently living on the streets and in public spaces. Ensuring everyone has a roof over their head is crucial before addressing other needs like health and employment. Many homeless individuals told me they lose vital documents and phones and driver's licenses, such as Social Security cards. Establishing secure mini-storage areas at local organizations like the Salvation Army or Turning Points can protect these documents and facilitate access to necessary services. I implore you to act decisively on these proposals. Our approach to homelessness must be immediate, comprehensive, and compassionate. By implementing these changes, we can make a significant and positive impact on the lives of those in need. It is disheartening to see other cities providing immediate housing and urgent mental health care in upscale hotels to undocumented immigrants, while long-term residents of our community continue to endure hardships on the streets, living on cardboard and concrete.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
We have next Keith Green. Please state your name, city of residence, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Keith Green, Manatee County. I wanted to come up and officially invite all of you to the upcoming First Responders Mass that my Knights of Columbus Council in Lakewood Ranch will be hosting on September 9th. And I wanted to also definitely thank the partners that I've been able to work with here in the city of Bradenton, Manatee County government. And to, if it's all right with you, Mr. Mayor, I would like to also bring up the Grand Night of my council as well.
Sure, definitely.
To definitely elaborate more.
Welcome.
Good morning, thank you. We will have a honorary mass service for our fallen first responders, and we hope you all will come. In addition, we'll also have prayer support for the current first responders. It's open to all, and we hope you all will join us. That's Our Lady of the Angels on State Route 70 in White Eagle.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. All right, I have no more cards. Council comments? I am going to make some comments, obviously, for Mr. Green. I plan on attending, and I've been the last couple years, and it's a great honor. And I think through our fire department, police department, and who shows up really is, and throughout the county, not only the city of Bradenton, but throughout the county, we're thankful that the Knights do that for us. So, thank you. One of the things on the homeless, obviously, there's a lot of things going on with that, working with the county, the Salvation Army, different programs throughout all of the Manatee County to try to make some things better. We know it's not a quick process, but there's some opportunity. Manatee County now have on 53rd Avenue, they got a facility that I believe they're going to turn into a woman's shelter. And we're hoping that as we work through the process to get Fresh Start Manatee out by the port to really help some of our men, and then hopefully turn in the Salvation Army to the family pod and really have some opportunity. We know there's some Supreme Court rulings, there's some state rulings that we're going to be able to help the residents, not just say move along, because we know if you move them from one area, they go to another area. And I stated this last night at a meeting, that there is a lot of good people. And I don't think there's one person in this room that if you see somebody needing help, you wouldn't help them. But sometimes we've got to have a little bit of help that will progress them to that next step. And, we've got people that are willing to go out and feed them on certain days. But how can we work that in collaboration with everybody to get where it is giving them not only a housing, and sometimes it's temporary, sometimes it's in a tent, but it's better than a piece of cardboard or on the street for a temporary time with wraparound services, with opportunities to find permanent housing. The city of Bradenton is doing a lot with workforce and affordable housing that may have opportunity. I know the CRA is working now, trying to do more on our Tamiami Trail and doing things. So there is a lot of opportunity. I wish the gentleman would have stayed to listen. And I don't know if you went out and talked to him or to try to get him to understand some of that. But nothing is fast, unfortunately. But we can make it faster by collaborating with a lot of people. And I think that's what we've been working on. And I think we're finally seeing some light where we can start to help. And talking, I talk almost every day with a couple of groups that feed the hungry. And they're willing to work with the city and the county and make that happen. Because it's not about feeding them on the street corner at 3 o'clock. It's about making it where it's changing their life, where they not only have the next opportunity, but also to change their life and become, that productive citizen that most of them want to be. They just have a little hard luck. So there's really going to be an opportunity, and that's going to take this council to step up when the time comes. And I think the Salvation Army has an opportunity to be the model Salvation Army in the country if these three projects can come together. Any other comments? All right,
Mr.
yes,
Mayor,
ma'am.
I saw the gentleman leaving, and I did go outside and speak with him briefly. And I walked in the middle of your remarks. One of the things that I think that the CRA has done with the city's support is working with the county to hire a mental health specialist to go out with our officers that are out every day dealing with people that currently are unhoused. And we have seen in the reports that we've gotten, there have been some where people were reunited with their families. Their families didn't know where they were. They had lost touch with them. The individuals, I think, were probably either afraid to contact their family or felt ashamed at what had happened to them. But we were able to reconnect that family. And I think that made a huge difference in those individuals' lives. So there's as many reasons that people are homeless as there are homeless people. And it's even in the Bible, the poor will always be with you. So I actually think that our community is working harder than ever before to try to get solutions to some of these issues. And I thank you for your leadership in that.
Thank you. All right, moving forward, Madam Clerk.
Item 6 is the consent agenda. Staff is requesting approval of items A through M.
Mr. Mayor, move to approve the consent agenda in its entirety.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right, I heard Ms. Barnaby for the motion. I'm Mr. Kramer.
And Mayor, I have had the opportunity to
Yep.
discuss all agenda items with council.
Good, thank you. Any further discussion? Hearing none, we'll start the vote in Ward 4.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
1.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
Carries unanimously. Thank you. Madam Clerk.
Item 8A is the agreement of purchase and sale for 1307 9th Street West.
Mr. Perry.
Mayor, Council, this item is submitted to Council for approval as part of a larger plan for the development of City Park, and it is the frontage, assemblage of frontage along 9th Street between 13th and 17th Avenues. This is closer to the 13th Avenue corridor intersection with 9th Street. We own, as the council probably knows, we own that corner piece of property. It's kind of a sliver type piece of property. This is affectionately known as the Canvas Shop. And we did obtain an appraisal for this property. I engaged directly with the owner of that property to see if he had an interest in an amicable negotiated purchase and sale of the agreement, which he did. And in light of that, I thought it was appropriate to provide a small amount on top of the appraised value to avoid real estate commissions, to avoid any sort of eminent domain if we moved in that direction, or other types of costly types of items that would be involved in a non-negotiated resolution. So I think it's a good piece of property. I think it will really help us with the development of City Park. The funds will come basically from the county's allocation. As you know, we've received $5 million for that portion of the development of the sports facilities themselves, the park. And as the breakout was, it was 1.66 per year to total the 5. And so we'll be using some of that funds that we haven't used from this year. So we think it's a pretty good acquisition, and I would urge your support.
Any questions? The chair will entertain a motion, and then we'll get a second, and then we'll go to final discussion.
I move to approve the purchase of the property located at 1307 9th Street West and authorize the city administrator to execute the agreement as presented.
Second? Seconded by Ms. Coach. All right, any discussion further? Hearing none, we'll start the vote in Ward 5.
Yes.
1,
Yes.
2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4.
Yes.
Thank you. Mr. Perry.
As it relates to item number 8B, City's Administration Commercial Lease between Tropicana Manufacturing and the City of Bradenton. This lease was negotiated between those particular parties with their legal representatives specifically. I believe it was Blaylock Walters and Will Robinson that prepared this lease, who does a lot of our real estate work. The purpose of obtaining this property is really, again, related to relocate City Park and the need to relocate both the administrative and technical functions that are currently in the Crowley building. That's the administrative headquarters, as you all know, for the Public Works Department. The second story of that building is uninhabitable because of asbestos and other types of problems over there. It's an aged building. It's a beautiful building. It's not a historically registered building. And the good news is that when we do go to demolition of that building, we hope to be able to use a lot of the brick and the timbers for reuse. Apparently, they were built as an armory back after the New Deal project with Palmetto and the city, and I think there may have even been an additional third armory in Sarasota. Yeah, so we're going to try to get the architects to express interest in the Palmetto project to take that reuse material, which I think is a great sustainability effort. The lease itself involves about 14,000 square feet. It's very good space. It's space that when Tropicana moved out of the Bradenton area as it relates to their corporate entity and PepsiCo's, things like that, to Chicago, it left some of the older space vacant, and it's about 14,000 square feet. The only thing that is in there currently, because they have built they did build their new corporate headquarters in the building immediately, I think, to the southeast west of it, is their mail room and their computer room. That's what's in there. So it allows us a great open canvas, basically. And we have taken you know, we've looked at that, we have walked it several times with Mr. Manelli and Tropicana folks, with our public works folks, with our engineering, our technical people, and we have a layout to basically accommodate, easily accommodate the folks from the Public Works Department. Currently, they're in fairly tight quarters. If you go over the Crowley building, you go down an engineering hallway, and it's cramped in there considerably. There's also portables that are being used. And so ultimately, we're going to procure this space. I believe that the rate that we got the space for is significantly discounted for a couple of different reasons, but it was initially advertised at $14 a square foot. This takes into account about a $12 per square foot annualized price on the property. It also will have significant savings to operate the Crowley building between utility costs for electricity and other utilities and the like, along with the security services and exterminators and other folks. Really, the annualized budget for operations of that facility is between $45,000 and $55,000 per year, depending on what breaks over there and has to be repaired. This is not a triple net lease, meaning that basically Tropicana will be responsible for all utilities, for providing 24-hour security, for upkeep of the area itself and the like. So really, when you look at the annualized cost, about a third of it comes back in savings, not having to fund the Crowley building and the complex over there. Ultimately, we look to demo the building, as I discussed in the beginning, and we'll try to incorporate Public Works into a relocation of City Hall as it relates to that administrative and technical function. So with that, I would urge your support.
All right, Chair will entertain a motion to get to discussion.
Move to approve the commercial lease agreement as presented.
Second.
All right, we have a motion and a second motion by Ms. Barnaby, second by Ms. Coker. Discussion?
I just have a.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Perry and I discussed any questions that I had about the actual lease itself, so I'm comfortable with that, as well as the cost savings in connection with the maintenance of the older building that they're currently in. I'm just going to use this as another opportunity to say that I would really love to see us have a workshop after we get the visioning so that we can also then begin to address where we're going to relocate to. So I see this as a temporary stopgap measure and while we figure that out, but I know it's budget time and it's busy, but I would like to see us do that.
Yep. No, we got plans in it, trying to get through the logistics of things. I think the opportunity that we've said, I've done quite a bit of discussion with, obviously the Crowley building is very crucial to the future, and I'd like to thank Mr. Burton for really kind of working with Palmetto, and they've actually come over and looked at that building to say, hey, we either lose two buildings or we save one. And Palmetto is on the historic site. Ours is not. And so, and I talked with that gentleman that actually got that on the historic site, and, this was a little while back, but I think they're very ecstatic about being able to maybe bring back that one building. And in reality, we're going to be able to say, even though it's Palmetto, it's still part of Bradenton. And how do you collaborate with people? And while we were talking about that, I was even thinking, I don't even know if the Sarasota building is still there or not. But it might be interesting if Palmetto doesn't need all of the supplies, maybe Sarasota could use them. So I'll reach out to people in Sarasota and see if there's an opportunity to really make it 3 for 1. And maybe there's that opportunity to collaborate because, and then plus it does save the stuff from going to the landfill. So anyway. All right, any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll start the vote in Ward 1.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
4.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
Thank you. And Mr. Perry, I just want to commend you, and I know, we've had a lot of discussion and there's been a lot of things about, that property there. And I know we're kind of past that. I meant to say about the previous property that, timing in life is everything, and you need to get a jet ski fixed or whatever, and opportunity and relationships, and good job on that. So,
Thanks.
all right, moving forward, Public Works.
This item C
Right.
is approval of the oyster restoration supplemental environmental project discussion. This basically,
Mike,
I'm sorry, I don't know.
I heard it from the back of the room.
This mic.
I'm going to bring my cheerleading megaphone if you're not careful.
Mike,
So this is the oyster restoration supplemental environmental project. In the Waterkeepers litigation, we agreed to do a supplemental project that would enhance the environment in lieu of a penalty, a financial fine that was initially part of the initial agreement. And one of the problems is that we want to do oyster restoration, but that would all have to be permitted. If we were to do it directly ourselves through the Army Corps of Engineer, initially you could go to the Florida DEP, but the federal EPA and the Biden administration said no more of that stuff. It's got to be permitted by the Corps, and that's a very lengthy process. The good news is that the county, along with Oyster Restoration Corporation or organization, has already permitted some area that's on the Manatee River. Some of it is within the territorial boundaries of Bradenton. Some of it is just on the fringes of it. And there's two different projects, I think, that the county and their partner that does the.
Damian Moore?
Yeah. Remember, some of you may remember him from Attention All Clams on Deck. There was a presentation at one of the councils of government and the like, and he used to be, I think, the #2 guy at Natural Resources there. Yeah. So he does the oyster restoration deal, and that's who the county's partnering with. They have it permitted, and we want it close to home, opposed to going to the Tampa Bay estuary or something like that. Oyster restoration is a very promising rejuvenation of environmental conditions of the waterways, and so to breed seagrass, oxygenation, better health environment for manatees and everything else. So I think most people on the scientific side and technical side are very much in favor of this. Charlie Hensinger from the county came to me and asked me if we could do it as well. He supports it.
one of the things I think that opportunity, like you said, it would take us a long time to go through the permitting process and do it. This gets boots on the ground, oyster shells in the mud, whatever you want to say, quicker. And I think it's very important to do that because we do have the area. We just got to get it done. And I think with what Mr. Moore does, he's actually going to be speaking at Kiwanis in the next week or two, which is obviously, the city supports, that part of it in the Kiwanis, and it's very interesting. And I'd be proud to say we're part of that group.
Absolutely, and he was actually willing, Justin Bloom, who's one of the plaintiff's representatives in Waterkeepers, texted me yesterday, didn't text me, emailed me and said, would you like Mr. Moore to be there? And I said, I think there'll become a time when we would, but probably not tomorrow.
Yeah. Good. So any questions? Or let's get a motion and then we'll get in discussion.
Mr. Mayor, move to authorize staff to move forward with the funding of the oyster restoration project through ORE.
Second.
Mr. Kramer, and a second by Ms.
Oh, I think Ms. Coachman also seconded it at the
Ms.
same time,
Coachman?
so, yeah.
All right, discussion?
For those of us that grew up here, I mean, my grandmothers on both sides talked about going oystering in the river. So I'm pretty excited about this.
Will this be something, I guess, that can be afforded? Exactly where are we talking? Like how close to shore? You mark territorial boundaries, which isn't very far out into the river.
Right, yeah. I think it's kind of on the eastern north side of the boundary. We're into the river. I don't know, Councilman Kramer, exactly where the field is. I think the first one was 16 acres, and there has to be like a geo-coordinate of the place where it's, I guess, when you submit the permit, you submit it in a location where it would be the most advantageous to do this type of environmental impact. I don't know exactly where
But
it is.
it's more towards the eastern part, but on our side of the river. One of the things that, I don't know exactly either, but I know talking with Charlie Hunsinger, Charlie is very, said it's very important to make sure that we do something that is going to survive. And they know the areas that will survive right now. It doesn't do any good to go in and put 10 acres, and that 10 acres dies right away.
Right.
So Charlie's done a great job in going through it and saying, okay, let's do it here. They've done some little, I think, test sites, and they know where they're thriving. So that's important, but yeah, we can have Damien come in at some point and say, all right, this is what we know, this is what we're doing, and get it really, really supportive. So I think that's something that there, and I think, directly on the east side of the Green Bridge in North Palmetto in the Manatee River, right there on the Palmetto side,
Right.
they've just done a whole area of oyster beds and things to try to rejuvenate that area. And it's actually now, where they have a channel in that, because you can see it when the tide's down a little bit. You can see some of the different things that are in there. So Palmetto's done a great job at that. On that side, we continue to do this. Then Manatee County does it north, farther up and east of the river. That's really going to change the river. So, all right. Hearing nothing further, we'll start the vote in Ward 2,
Yes.
3,
Yes.
4,
Yes.
5,
Yes.
1.
Yes.
Thank you. All right, Madam Clerk.
There is not any unfinished business listed, so we could go to council reports.
All right, one thing I would like to ask before we get to council reports, I know you and I talked about it yesterday. We're obviously doing our emergency declarations. Do we have anything that we can do today, or are we going to extend that? And do we have to meet Friday morning? Or can we make a motion today to do that?
Well, we could adopt an extension today, but it'd be limited to 7 days, so,
Only 7 days from now, we can't make it effective as of Friday morning?
right, no,
Okay.
can't do that.
So we may have to have a special meeting at 8:30 Friday morning. I'm looking at Mr. Williams and Mr. Perry. Are we thinking we're gonna have to do that? I see kind of a halfway shake, yes. So, we're not sure yet, because
I don't think that there's significant recovery operations that would lead to cost recovery. Mr. Williams may, and Colonel Lee may have more information on that, because if there is, it's probably gonna be in the Public Works realm. I'm not sure, are we still currently under an emergency declaration?
in the state, we are.
The state we are. I'm not
In the
so-
county, we are till tomorrow.
Right.
And they actually gave their administrator the authority to continue it. So we would have to have a conversation with their administrator tomorrow, because obviously if they don't, we can't.
Yeah.
But we want to be prepared. If they do, we will.
And, the weather report has not been good, and it's still pretty touchy for some of the conditions that exist. We're still suffering some conditions that are related to Debbie. I don't know how much of them are cost recoverable under FEMA, to be honest with you. I believe our debris haulers are through, but, yep. It may be advisable to do it just out of an abundance of
Well, we have to see
caution.
tomorrow. I
Yeah.
just wanted to get everybody prepared.
Okay.
That if we have to do it, it'll be 8:30 Friday morning.
Yeah, just, I'll work with Irvin and everybody over there just to confirm
And then we'll
exactly what we need to do. It looks like we're, God willing, the weather holds out and everything goes as planned. Looks like we're gonna finish up towards the end of the week. But, we don't know what the next 4 days will hold, so, or 3 days will hold. So, but I'll work with them just to confirm what we need to do, so council knows by no later than Thursday
which is
what
tomorrow.
we need to do. Yep. Oh, I know.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Yep, exactly.
Right.
Yep.
All right. Mr. Rudisell?
Yeah, I was just gonna add, I mean, if that's something that the council is interested in, providing more flexibility in the future, that is, the reason that we can't do it differently right now and do it like the county does, where they have designated their, that responsibility to their staff, is because we have an ordinance that says that it's going to be the city council unless you can't convene a quorum. Right. So that is something that could be changed if the council wanted to have more
Well,
flexibility.
and I think that the way we're having to do this now is a little different, because it's basically, I don't want to say it was a small storm, but it was a different storm. So we're doing a little differently than a hurricane, where there's still weeks and weeks and weeks of debris that's going to think about the last time we had that, where it took us months to get all of the yard debris up. So, but no, we can look at that, but I have no issues with meeting on Friday mornings if, and other times it might be just lucky that it's a Wednesday, but this happens to just be the way it fell in the day. So we can look at that and see if there's easier options, just to say, yeah, extend it a week.
So would that be a request for Mr. Rudisell to look at revisions to the current ordinance? I could see how the initial declaration should probably follow the matrix we have right now, which of course goes to council and ultimately the mayor and I think the vice mayor. But we did have that situation where a couple of folks were out, and we had to have the default positions utilized. It would seem to me that dependent on the condition and type of storm, like this, as you pointed out, wasn't much of a wind event, but it has had very residual impacts on us currently, even in the water utility side of things. That's where it's been mostly, both from the stormwater and the wastewater treatment side. I don't know if you all need to go together every 7 days. After you initially authorize it, it may be more advisable to provide me authority under the ordinance to continue it depending on the
Well,
circumstances.
if the county doesn't continue it, we can't.
Well,
So
right,
if
it would
they do,
take into account all
makes
of
it
that
easier.
as well. It's just, this is an interesting thing today, because as you're asking the question, we are having some challenges that are related to Debbie at the wastewater reclamation facility regarding some of the bugs we talked about and its ability to have the right properly aged bugs, maturity bugs and the like. You guys don't probably, deal with that a whole lot. But the point of it is, if we do have to do something that's continuing, we want to be reimbursed, relating it back to the Debbie, and we have to justify it has to be related to Debbie. But these weather conditions right now are very unstable. And with continuing storms of just a day or two, they're going to impact this situation that was really caused by Debbie. And so, I don't know how much you want to have to assemble everybody for a special meeting to extend a 7-day period when you knew it was all related to that. Entirely within your purview, Billy Weck, and policy. It's just you might want Mr. Rudisell to consider that.
Yes, sir, Mr. Kramer.
If we were to have a vote today, are we able to do that, or would it have had to have been noticed that we were going to extend it?
Wouldn't have to be noticed, but I think what I heard was the county hasn't yet to extend theirs. I mean, we could vote to extend it if we could put a resolution together very quickly. If we took a 5-minute break, we
You may
could.
say resolution starting as of Friday, if the county extends theirs,
No, but we could do a resolution as of today that
even
would.
though they haven't extended it.
It could be contingent on the county's extension. I mean, if we.
I thought we can't do our own unless the county does theirs, and the county can't do their own unless the state does theirs.
Right, they're the lead emergency management organization for the county, so I'm just looking at options if that's a concern for Friday.
Well, Friday aside, that would get us on a Wednesday schedule, and from what you're sort of saying is they might not need to be doing work past Wednesday anyway.
Next Wednesday, you mean?
Right, a week from today.
From my understanding, I just got flash reports this morning, the county's still got plenty of work to do. They're in a bad way still. And so I would definitely think they're going to extend. We're in an uncertain way, but there's some lingering issues that I kind of described with this water chemistry that's related to it. So I think we should probably do what Mr. Rudisell suggested, which is pass a resolution continuing our emergency declaration contingent upon the county approving theirs.
So if we did that today and they ended theirs tomorrow, ours would end tomorrow.
Correct.
If we do that today and they extend theirs, ours would go till next Wednesday, but then we would have to have a meeting next Wednesday to extend it, hoping they extend it the next day. So I agree with what you're saying.
Yeah.
It just seems like now we're kind of behind dates. It's tough. I know, I'm just finishing. I can see, yes. Ms. Coachman.
I mean, I have something too, but
Ms. Coachman.
he's recognizing you first. Okay, appreciate it. Just throwing this out there. Tomorrow, we have a CRA meeting. Would we possibly know that the county has extended?
We'll know today. I
We'll
can
know
find out
today?
if he's gonna sign it tomorrow.
Is it
I'm confident they are.
So is it
So if we,
possible to tentatively schedule to do that tomorrow?
It's still,
It will still,
be one day
there will
short.
still be a day short.
yeah.
Gotcha.
You'd have to post it today as a special meeting. You can't do it in the CRA.
Right.
It applies to the
No, I mean, no, you could, not in the
Yeah.
CRA. The CRA meeting could be
It would be
either
one day
over or you
Yeah.
do it before it.
So we're changing the day no matter what. Yeah. What's the, Ms. Coker? We gotta be here till 1 o'clock.
Oh, okay. No, I'm not sure if I took this, but I have no problem with basically doing whatever is required to say for a continuing resolution, to give that authority to the administrator or to the mayor upon your judgment. I think we've had enough of these that they're pretty much a kind of a foregone conclusion. So I don't know if it's legally able to do that, to just give them the authority to do continuing
Yes.
resolutions?
We can do that. We just have to amend the ordinance, so we can't do it for this
Right, but we can
Okay.
do it in the
particular.
future. Ms.
Right.
Barnaby.
Okay.
I think it's important that we do the initial,
Agree.
I think it's important
Oh,
that we
no,
do,
no doubt
that we
about
do
that.
the initial one, but then when we find ourselves in a situation where it is a continuing situation,
It's basically just following
Right.
what the county's doing.
exactly.
And it's easier, and that's why they did it yesterday, just to make it easier. And again, at any time we have a meeting, we say, hey, you know, we're not the ones deciding what needs to be done anyway, the staff is, if there's continued. And it's more about protection of FEMA money and that
Right.
stuff, and doing it, so. I think it would be better to just go forward, and if county extends it, we meet 8:30 Friday morning to continue the flow, and then have Mr. Rudisil come up with a resolution, or I guess an ordinance change, to update it, to say after the first.
And what we could do is we could include language to where the council would have the option that,
In the initial,
in the initial, that they could authorize
right.
the administrator or the mayor to issue the extensions.
Because, I mean, this could go on for weeks.
Right.
And if we are in a situation where we have a bad
Oh, that's totally different.
being
We'll
being
meeting
able to
a
be,
lot more.
well, we would be meeting, but being able to be flexible and give you all the tools that you need in that situation.
Yeah, I mean, you think about hurricanes like Andrew, you know, devastating type hurricanes. Those are 2-year events probably. And you don't want to come back every 7 days, I wouldn't think.
No.
All right, so I think
Not that we don't love you.
No, and not that I don't love you.
We'll find out more information today, tentatively planned Friday morning at 8:30. And we'll have Mr. Rudisil work on the other for the future. All right, good. All right, council reports, starting Ward 4.
Okay. Just in the spirit of letting you all know what is happening in Ward 4, I will tell you that the past couple of weeks, on 24th Street East, we had a little situation, and I was shown pictures that basically show the condition of the pipes, and it just underscores the need for us to, now that we have been, I think, very proactive in vertical capital improvement projects, I'm excited to see us move forward to the horizontal under the ground. Less exciting maybe, but I am excited about that. So that happened, and we're going to talk more about it in the budget workshop, but I'm happy that we're going to be moving forward with maybe some less exciting, but I think equally important projects. I just attended the Florida League of Cities conference I think it was last week. I'm losing track of time with school starting. And it was very good. I enjoyed it. I learned a lot. The keynote speaker was really interesting. I'm spacing out on his name, but he wrote a book about cities using what he called creative resources, or no, I'm sorry, creativity as a resource. And it really got a lot of, what's that? Yes, it was, yes. Thank you. And it got me thinking a lot about maybe the kind of businesses that we want to encourage to begin, populating our downtown area so that can branch out. So obviously more to come on that. Again, like all the things we could be talking about in a workshop that we hopefully have soon. And that's pretty much it.
And Richard Florida had come
Yes.
to here through the EDC a couple years ago. He was at State College of Florida and gave a lot of good talk on that, and he's got a book out.
Yes.
If anybody wants to get his book, and it's very good.
I thought it was really great. It was good information, very, it makes you enthusiastic about wanting to be creative and when you're trying to figure out how to revitalize the downtown area.
All right. With a lot of streets in between.
Yes. That is the hard part.
Yeah. Ward 5, Ms. Coachman.
All right, Ward 5. Not much has changed in terms of the things that are going on that are in process. But I just wanted to kind of relate some of the things that we had presented to us today and how it impacts Ward 5. The homelessness situation, it was heartbreaking just listening to that because yes, we do have places that feed them, daily, and also have a place for them to store their valuables or, important documents. I have seen other cities do these temporary small houses, and I'm assuming that's a lot of money. But I really wish we could step up and speed up. I know government moves very slowly, but if there is some way we can continue collaborating with all the entities and actually do something, something tangible to help people. Another note, recognition. We have some very, 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 very hard-working people in the city of Bradenton. And today we recognized 3 of them. I just want to mention that yesterday we also recognized 2 individuals with the Bradenton Police Department. And there was the law enforcement side and then a civilian. But the civilian was also formerly a police officer, 25 years. 16, sorry. He's going to be with us more to add up to that. It was just heartwarming to see that dedication, not able to do what he was trained to do, but he still wanted to be in it and in the mix. And that was just very good to see. And then the other individual, young at it, new, but gung-ho in a good way. And I know sometimes when you hear law enforcement, you say gung-ho. but it was just very rewarding and heartwarming to see those 2 individuals be recognized. And what they do impacts Ward 5 a lot. And just want to say thank you to them. Thank you, Chief, and recognizing them. And there are many more. It's so important. We think about salaries as being the motivation for employees. And yeah, it is. But it's also how we recognize and show them that we appreciate them. So.
No, and I think that was very important. I'm just going to comment on the awards yesterday now. But you look at when you see a young man that is in the neighborhood where you're going to put children, community policing, giving a role model for some of the children that might not always see that was fun to see, and the excitement of what he was doing. And that's where I think recognized. And then, of course, the other gentleman, for circumstances out of his control, could not be a police officer anymore, but wanted to stay involved. Mm-hmm. And, when you look at family and you look at things that are out there that just show you that, hey, I can't do that anymore, but I can do this, and still wanting to be involved. And I think that's a testament to our chief and all the command staff to say, how do we make it work? Because it's not always about, oh, can't do the job, you're gone.
Right.
And, we see a lot of negativeness in some of our police, and not just city of Bradenton, but all over, where, you get those negative connotations. But when you see those things like yesterday, it's saying, hey, we are doing a good job, keep doing it, and we've got that.
And it's recognizing the individual in his or her totality, as a whole.
And there's still good young people out there that are willing to take that step, that responsibility, that leadership, and that's what's good to see. So, thank you. Anything else?
Ward 5 is alive.
All right, thank you. Ward 1. Now it's your turn.
Oh. Okay. First off, I think we've got a holiday weekend coming up for Labor Day, and I just want to wish everybody a happy and safe weekend. I know it's hot out there, but, so stay cool. I was wondering if at some point we could get an update on where we are with our downtown ordinance, just how that's going. And also, I wanted to let everybody know, there is a ribbon cutting at GT Bray on the 19th of September that the Estuary Board is doing. It's pretty impressive. Now, GT Bray is a county park, but it is in the city of Bradenton, and is very much will affect the quality of the stormwater that will go out into the bay. So I think it's very impressive, and I hope you're all able to attend and see what they're doing, because if anything, I think this recent storm has reprioritized the importance of stormwater management. And the gentleman that is doing the oyster beds, he gave a presentation, and I'd like to find out a little bit more about, he does in your big storm ditches, which I have a really large one that goes behind my, and the city is very vigilant, keeping it mowed a lot and everything. But he has where you plant wildflowers. And so I'd like to kind of look into that. The whole idea between these stormwater ditches is to slow the water down so that the basically the pollutants can filtrate out. And so, and it would look a lot better, and we wouldn't be constantly having to mow it. So I would like to see us maybe question him a little bit more. You said he's coming to Kiwanis, and anyhow, in our interactions, I'd like to see us maybe go farther with that, but that's all.
Good, and I'll have the chief give an update on the ordinance, where it's going to come to us.
If we've gotten any farther.
It's going to come to the next meeting, so.
Okay.
All right, Mayor.
Yeah. Yes.
I forgot something, whenever's appropriate.
Okay, let's finish and then we'll come back.
Ms.
Ward
Coker,
2?
Would you ask Ms. Melton, would you get the information for the thing on the 19th?
Yes,
And
absolutely.
ask her to disseminate to us, please.
I will.
All right. Ward 2, Ms. Barnes.
Ward 2. Well, I would like to offer my family's deepest sympathies to the family of Dr. Chet Barron and Coach Ozell Ackerman. Again, two gentlemen that did a lot for this community, and they will be missed. We have on Friday night, we have Manatee High versus Southeast High. And I very rarely do this, but I have it on good authority that I believe Manatee is going to win. And if you've never been to a Manatee Southeast game, this might not be the best one to come, because there were some battle royales back in the day, but this is a fun game, and it used to be that it was, well, I'm sorry.
Exciting.
It was exciting, and it was standing room only back in the day. So if you haven't come to a Manatee High game, this might be a good one to come to, because I think we're going to win. Also want to say congratulations to Georgia Tech winning the football game.
Ooh, you had to bring it up, didn't
at
you?
the last minute, bless your heart. But you had a secret weapon, and that your kicker grew up down the road from where the stadium was. So that was kind of a that was very neat to see all of the Irish fans come out. I was able to go to the game. My husband and I went over there to celebrate our 41st anniversary. And I know you're thinking, that poor man, 41 years with that woman. But be that as it may, we got to travel a little bit through County Cork and Killarney and Dublin, and I saw some really wonderful things in some different cities that I'm excited to come back and talk with you all about. So there's that.
So since you hit all the elephants in the rooms, we'll move on to Mr. Kramer.
Thank you, sir. I guess.
Yes.
I also want to thank, at the request of Lance Williams, he asked me, because I, in my old role with the city, just would reach out to, sometimes I was ordered, sometimes it was just part of my job, to reach out directly to staff members from other departments. And he asked me to please loop him in on it and actually send an email to him and then copy any department heads or other staffers who I thought might be appropriate to do the job. So I just want to thank him for having it be done that way, so at least stuff's on his radar. A lot of times I'll get the emails back from him, but also to thank those department heads, primarily Chief Bevan, Mr. Lee, our good friends down in Planning and Zoning, and Dr. Burden for their communication and getting us back the information we need to know. At St. Stephen's, every day of the week except for Wednesdays, there's chapel. And on Monday, at the end of chapel, there was a meditation, a 3-minute just silent meditation, where I got out all the pain that came Saturday. So,
It only took 3 minutes.
congratulations. It's over. We're moving on to next week.
Now, Boston College needs to look out.
Thank you.
And I defer the rest of my time to my esteemed colleague from Ward 4, Laura, to finish her comments.
You yield back. Ms. Moore.
I would encourage people to go to the game if it would maybe detract from what is bound to be an embarrassing first pitch that I will be throwing at the finishing out the season at the Marauders.
Oh,
It
that's
is.
Friday night too?
It is.
We could do both.
Either early or get over it.
I'll take some good video for
Yeah.
if you can't make it.
So that will be, I think it is health and wellness theme night, Friendly City at the park. And so welcome anyone that would like to observe. I don't know what to call it. I don't know how it's going to go.
Just don't hit the dirt.
My nephew brought me a baseball and I'm supposed to be practicing, but I have not made time to do that. So, yes, so I just wanted to give a shout out to the end of the season.
So I think that's the last one, and I just want to thank the Pirates and Marauders and Craig Wachecka that's done a great job at, when he came to me beginning of, I don't know, several months back and said, hey, do you think this would be good? I said, I think the council would love it, and really set up themes. And again, they're trying to get people at the ballpark, which is fun for us. And when you see things that encourage people to come to things and that. So it's definitely been a fun adventure this season. So hopefully we'll get to do that again next year and have better first pitches and good ones and different ones.
Don't look at me.
Yeah, don't look at me. I sing, I don't throw.
Yeah, I don't believe everyone's thrown a first pitch.
And I just said, I sing, I don't throw.
But no, that was I think that was a fun time. It's camaraderie. It's doing things with that. And the Southeast Manatee game Friday night. You never want to take anybody lightly. I mean, we saw that about 6 days ago. So you don't know the first part of the season. So I'm just going to look at my friends that up here and smile at them. So we're outnumbered, but we'll get over it. You never know.
Don't you have an opponent coming up with?
We're not. We're still in rebuilding.
I have a friend who roots for the team that you root for, and one of the comments was that he thought the person that put the University of Florida schedule together
Oh.
was the same people that said, let's have Olympic swimmers swim in a river that's been used as a toilet since the Middle Ages.
Well, it is known
So-
as it's more about the conferences and the national, but we know it's the toughest schedule. They're saying it's the toughest schedule in the
It
nation.
looks awful.
And it's just timing. That's life and timing. But if you want to be the best, you got to face the best, and you got to build. So, and that's what we're doing.
Yes.
And I'm going to say it in the city that, you know, we're facing it and fixing it. And it may take a little longer to face and fix, but we're going to do that. And there's processes. And, oh, by the way, 3 weeks ago we had a storm that kind of slows things down a little bit. So, you know, we're working through that, and we're doing a great job at collaborating as well as getting the right people in the seats. And I think, you know, when I look out in the audience, mostly a few citizens still here, but most of the staff, and we just want to say thank you to you as well as all of your staff that you deal with and take care of every day. And really don't have much else but to thank everybody, and let's just get through this storm, and we'll go to department heads. Any department head have anything other than maybe Chief just come up and give a quick update, as Ms. Coker asked, working through some of the processes with the ordinance that we already passed one, so it's in effect. Now it's just about updating it till the next meeting and some timing on it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Foremost, thank you for approving the 2 forfeiture items on the consent agenda. More to come on that. Secondly, we're working feverishly, several of our folks, to reach our deadline, which is October 12th, by the way. We counted it down. We have not yet gotten with planning. We're finalizing our security survey, as well as what the process specifically will be and how best we think we can kind of hand off some of the application and whatnot. We've identified 23 establishments within the city that will be impacted, not as many as we thought. And so we're on it, and we were, you know, I listened to my attorney. He's like, well, you know, we don't have to have it done by October 12th, but we're going to have it done by October 12th. So working well, moving right along.
Thank you. I didn't mean for it to be a gotcha. I just wanted to, you know, I would have liked to have seen something stronger passed, and so I want to make sure that we keep the drumbeat going, because I feel like that issue is something that we've got to address. So I'm hopeful that this will do what we need it to do, and I just want that's my purpose of asking about it.
Well, I am aware that we have probably coming up next council meeting, the time change. In a first, it'll be a first reading. We've been bouncing that back and forth between the PD and your office, and so we will be putting forth a first reading of an ordinance changing the time from 2:30 to 2. I think it kind of goes hand in hand, so I'm sure we'll get another audience when that rolls out.
And addressing the fee structure, and that will be also in that.
That's all going to be in the permit.
It'll be explained and gone through.
Thank you.
All right, yes, ma'am.
Oh,
Chief?
Well, and I don't know to whom the question should be, but I have had a couple of questions, just, you know, offhanded questions like, where should I go, who should I call? So if somebody asks me that, what should I tell them?
Probably, we'll find them.
Okay. I'll just tell them.
We
We'll find
haven't
you.
started our citizen contacts. We just wanted to have everything, our ducks in a row. We're not really completing a full SEPTED survey. We're going to call it more of a security survey, and it's not going to be required, but obviously that'll be taken into consideration. If a business chooses to opt out and we have subsequent issues, then that will be taken into consideration while we suggested that we come out and address and analyze and whatnot. And so those contacts should be within the next week or two.
Okay.
So we will be contacting each one of the businesses with a personal visit.
Awesome. Thank you.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other department heads? Anything?
Just briefly.
Mr. Perry?
Mr. Williams and I were discussing, looking forward to your all's attendance at the PSOC grand opening. not this Friday, but the following Friday. Things are coming together quite nicely over there, and couldn't happen at a sooner time coming into the bulk of hurricane season in September. So look forward to you all and hope to keep delivering good quality projects, as well as on the vertical and public safety front, as well as the other fronts and utilities as well. So thank you.
Thank you. Anything else, Ms. Singer?
We are kind of finalizing on the Acela transfer over for building permits, and we're going to be conducting training on the 5th and 6th and 12th and 13th. I think those are the right dates. And so there may be some limited availability of PCD staff while we go through that training, particularly at the front counter. There's probably going to be one morning, and so we're going to notify everybody ahead of time on that before that occurs, so everybody's well aware. Also, the building official is taking a look at our building permit fees, which really have not been looked at thoroughly since 2014, and really I think there was some tweaking in 2018. But we're a little behind other communities in terms of our fees, and because we have this electronic permitting software, it's a good time to start to look at that. And as part of that, we're also going to be notifying the development community, the contractor, so that they're aware that's fully aware. So you may want to, if you hear anything, if you can let us know what you're hearing, because we want to make sure everybody's fully informed. We're looking at probably about a 20% increase in fees to cover the costs. Per statutes, we can only charge the fees that we need to run business, but we do need to cover our costs as part of the process. And it might come up as well as when we're talking about the budget this afternoon, but just want to keep you informed.
Just on that front, I think last year was a $700,000 deficiency. There was a moratorium by the state, I think, that was put in place and it was extended. So we haven't really been able to look at that for 2+ years, as I estimate.
Yeah, and but that moratorium, fingers crossed.
Right.
Something doesn't get extended, but it's supposed to end October 1st. So we're going to try to bring you the ordinance next month in September so that we can, not ordinance, I think it'll be a resolution, but we'll try to bring that forward so that we can make sure that we're on, target for that.
And we also did a rate study on that, I believe, a fee study with Matrix Consulting. I thought they had looked at that.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, and that also showed we were a little behind.
Right.
We may be, the county may charge a little less. Most counties do because they have the economies of scale in terms of dealing with permitting. So we may be a little beyond the county's permit fees in some cases. Also, our permit fee structure is a little different than other communities. We don't necessarily do it based on construction costs. It's more of a flat rate fee. But we're not going to change that right away, one thing at a time. We're going to get the fees where they need to be to cover the costs of permitting.
Ms. Moore?
Does the end of the moratorium on the fees also include an end to the legislation that was getting, preventing you all from being able to move forward with the changes in the plan?
In the codes?
Yes.
That's separate.
It is separate.
That runs until 2016. That we
Oh, yeah.
can't.
2026?
2026. That is preventing us from passing legislation that makes our codes more restrictive. Now, we can, I think, do a reorganization of the code, and we can make it less restrictive. And I think we've got a lot of ideas for how we're going to, once we finish the visioning process, we're going to be getting on that.
Okay, great.
So,
And all that would come to you for approval. It's just we're looking at it.
All right, thank you.
all right, thank you.
Anything else?
I do have one more
Yes,
question. And I was in conversation with Mr. Perry yesterday. Just looking for an update on the Manatee Avenue State Road 64 paving project on West Manatee, because I know during the storm it was safer to drive in the left lanes than it was in the right lane. So,
The last that I heard, and I mean, we can get more, I think Colonel Lee can probably do a little bit, or Brandy can do some, but is they were supposed to have some of their underground stuff and everything done, so in September they could do the paving.
okay.
Because the paving's only gonna take them a week at night.
Right.
You won't even see it. But if you notice, they're doing a lot of light poles at 26th Street. They just did 10th Street. They're changing, and that was under Governor Scott's mandate that you have to change some of the older poles because of the hurricanes.
Right.
So it's still processing through. And if you look at down a lot of streets, they're doing new power poles, you know, in the area. So unfortunately, you know, I think a lot of those projects are taking longer. So it's the street, but it's, the last I heard through the MPO was September.
Okay.
Supposed to be June, and it got extended till September, which if you think about from June till September, that's not a long time, but who knows if it'll be September.
Okay.
That's, and then we'll find out more and we can disseminate it out.
Thank you.
Good question. All right, just remind everybody about September 9th with the Knights and the honoring our first responders. If you can make it, please put that on your calendar. And stay safe out there. I mean, it's hot. You know, a lot of people are, you know, if you're out, really hydrate. If you're out jogging at noon, hydrate.
That's just crazy talk. I mean, let's be honest.
Well, wasn't there?
Oh, hey, Mr. Perry, how are you?
Wasn't there a famous adage of only mad dogs and Englishmen go out in the noonday sun?
I have a theory that if you can make it through a modest run at noon in 108-degree heat index, a city council meeting is a walk in the kitty park.
On that note, we'll be adjourned.